Number two, Bernie Sanders said that Hillary Clinton has very bad judgment.
It just means a whole bunch of difficulties. Because if you look at Congress, it's a bunch of old people. And generally speaking, old people are normally sexist, racist, homophobic. Basically, insert anything you want to, and they're against it. You can have a woman as president, that's new change, on top of them thinking, oh, as a woman, she's not supposed to be there. And on top of that, as a woman with her background, if you're speaking specifically about Hillary Clinton, they're gonna associate her with her husband's policies. And associating her with her husband's policies isn't giving her a fair shot. So all Gates is gonna come in there with 2 strikes against her because she's a woman, and they're associating her with Bill Clinton. And on top of that, as a woman married to a man who cheated on you in the Oval Office, you are now being questioned whether or not you can keep your own marriage intact, much less a country.
To have a woman as president would mean, well, first of all, it'd be a significant stride in our country, knowing where the women's suffragist movement has moved from, and knowing the rights of individuals from black, white, minority, women. It's a major milestone in our country's progressive movement. But secondly, it's something that I think we have to understand is important for what's next for the United States, what's next for our leadership. And to have a woman who is strong and experienced and has made mistakes and learned from them, I think it's extremely important. And I think it's a good move for the United States, and I think it's something that we have to really embrace right now.
So if you want, and you say you want change and you actually mean it, then you have to vote, because it's more than just voting for your president.
But we always talk about, well, think about those who came before us, think about those who fought for our right to vote. But at the same time, I would ask people to think about, not about just the people that came before us, not about our moment right now, what it could mean for us in this defining moment, but think about the people that will come after us, the people that we will not meet, the people that we will impact and will never get the opportunity to know by, but will be impacted by the decisions that we make right now in this election and the effects of it. I mean, and so it's imperative for us to make our voices heard on the street, in the ballot box, in Congress, in our local elections, because the impact is immediate and long-term. And so it's important for us, if we want the change that we say we want and that we know we deserve as a people, to get into the ballot boxes and vote.
I mean, because normally speaking, black people don't go out and vote. So then us as millennials with more access to education and things than our parents ever had, we are more aware of the issues that are going on in the world. We're quick to tweet about something that upsets us, or to talk about something, some distress in the nation. But when it comes time to actually vote and go out and do it, we don't do it. I mean, if you look at it, if you could vote from Twitter, then Bernie Sanders would have won the presidency. But especially as African-American youth, we tend to be all behind something on social media, rallying for it, but never actually come down to put the pen in the paper and make a movement on it. So we need to really get out there and actually vote if we're going to want to see any real change.
What we all saw and heard on Friday was Donald talking about women, what he thinks about women, what he does to women. And he has said that the video doesn't represent who he is. But I think it's clear to anyone who heard it that it represents exactly who he is.
The problem isn't Donald Trump. The problem is a misogynistic, privileged society that says that a woman is the problem when she says that she's been sexually assaulted. And it's the society's problem when it exonerates someone in a manner that basically tells them that they can still be president of the United States even when they have said, I commit sexual assault. They will allow me to commit sexual assault. And furthermore, the problem is when we constantly look at the women who are the victim or the survivor of sexual assault and make them the center of the problem rather than the culture that made them a victim in the first place. That's the problem here, and that's what I believe the First Lady was getting at. That's what I understand. And all men have to check our privilege. You know, it's one thing to be black, it's another thing to be male, it's another thing to be a black male, but it does not compare to being a black woman. And to even extend that sentiment, it's another thing to be black, a woman, or identify as a woman, and be inside of the LGBTQ community, which is another thing we have to examine when we focus on sexual assault. And that's what the First Lady was getting at. That's what we have to focus on. Donald Trump isn't the problem, but the society that allows someone like Donald Trump to manifest, run for president, and actually have a shot, even after he said something like that, and then broadcasts and attacks the women, and Bill Clinton as well, attacks the women that constantly that are constantly coming out and saying this man did something to me, but I'm the problem. It's not okay. I think that's the problem. I think that's what we have to assess. That's what the First Lady was getting at. And I have to check myself. We all have to check ourselves. And we all have to be honest with ourselves about the situation that we are in. And Donald Trump he's just an example. He's not the root.
It's no surprise that this came up, but it's a big thing because, of course, he's running, in the basic terms, he's running for president. So it's a big thing. But for Donald Trump, if you actually have watched Donald Trump, this shouldn't be a surprise.
It's not a surprise. He's a stuck-up billionaire, so he thinks he could do anything without any consequences. So it's not really a shocker.
I mean, it's Donald Trump. We all knew what we were doing. It started as a joke and we let it go too far. And now we're all just kind of sitting around like, damn, we really let that happen. So nothing that Trump does or says surprises me. I don't think it really surprises anyone. It's more of a, oh, yeah, I thought he was going to say something like that, and he said it. So with his disrespect for women, you got to think the man is a billionaire. When you have that much money, not many things can affect you, and you tend to feel a sense of superiority. You mix that in with someone who's never had to struggle for anything in their life, and respect not just for women, but for all working class individuals goes out the window.
Oof. It's best to stand behind a man who can make mistakes and admit them. But one step further, constantly make strides to improve himself. When we find that person, when we find someone with the integrity to admit their faults, and they are faulty, but yet they also strive every day to be better for themselves and to be better for the people that they will affect, like I said earlier, that they will never meet, I think that's the person we have to rally behind. And I think that's what this election really is about, from local level to the presidency.
A lot of great men have had problems outside of their activism, even moral issues, but their impact for what they've done for people has superseded any of their life mistakes.
Well, if we're talking about this specific election, that implies that you're saying Hillary Clinton's made strides to do right by everyone, which is not true and ignores all of the bad she's done and all of the policies that she's done in the past to restrict people's growth, not only here but internationally. So with those two options presented, I wouldn't choose either, because by choosing Clinton, you're not standing by someone who strived to do right by everybody. You're standing by the lesser of two evils and looking for a way to justify it based off the fact that she's a woman.